Welcome back to I'm Still Here. I'm Larry.
I'm Heather. Oh my gosh. Oh, in 1998, at the age of 26, I was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. It changed everything for us, but I'm still here.
Yes, you are.
It's...
That was our fifth take on the beginning. So this is going to go great.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
All right. Well, I don't know if you realize, but we just celebrated our anniversary.
We did.
And I'm hoping that you had more than 2-word sentences throughout this podcast, but we'll see.
I might.
We thought we'd talk a little bit about marriage and cancer and whatever comes our way today. How's that?
Sounds good.
Okay. So, 28 years,
Mm-hmm.
which means we've known each other for 30 years, which means I've been hanging out with you for more years of my life than I haven't been hanging out with you, right? I was 20...
By a long way.
By a long
Yeah.
ways. Yeah.
That happened like a long time ago, that shift. Yes.
And same with you. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you're so much older than me. So.
This is going to go great.
So anyway, I thought maybe we could talk quickly about how we met.
Okay.
Why don't you do that?
Me.
Yes, because I always tell the story. I'd like to hear your side of
That
it.
sounds like a good opportunity to tell it.
Let's go.
30 years ago, in May, Heather was working at a summer camp. And one of the things this summer camp did is schools, at the end of the school year, would bring their classes, late elementary, middle school, whatever. They would bring their classes and they would stay there for, I don't know, a few days.
Couple days, yeah.
Couple days. And they would do a bunch of camp stuff, outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
And she was a counselor for that. My sister had just had a baby, and she was a teacher. My brother-in-law was also a teacher. So I said, hey, I'll go along, because I was in college. I believe it was my first year in college.
I think you were just finishing that
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
So I didn't have anything to do. And I said, hey, that sounds like fun. I'll go along. And, we had fun. She just attacked me. It was uncomfortable. No. We hit it off. I don't know, right from the beginning. It was cool. I definitely knew that I was interested in hanging out with you more. And at that point,
Yeah. So I had finished my junior year of college. You had just finished your freshman year of college because you'd been in the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
So we met there and we started dating, and we were living, our college towns were about 45 minutes apart,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I would say kind of right from the start, we wanted to be together most days.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of driving,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just, it was just easy, I think.
Yeah, well, it went fast. I mean, looking back now with a daughter that's 25 or 26?
Yeah, 25.
25 and a son that's 22. Looking back, looking at where they are in their lives, and to think that we were much younger than that and we got married, and I felt like, it was a great time for that, which is ridiculous looking back at now, going, I wasn't even done with college. And I thought, let's get married. That's a great idea. But it felt like it was right, and I think it was right for us at the time, even though we hadn't even started our careers yet. But that happened.
Well, I think, it was,
we knew each other for a year. We were engaged for a year and got married.
Yeah. I agree. I think things did move a little bit differently then at that time. There have been some shifts, but now I agree as a parent, it's like, whoa, what in the heck? And why the hurry and whatever else.
Which is
that
maybe
kind of
what our
stuff.
parents were thinking, but they didn't
I don't know.
Really
I didn't
voice that.
feel
I don't
like
know.
they did. I don't know. Yeah, so we got married in May of 1995, and I had to do the math. We were married for 3.5 years before we found out about the cancer. So, and Sydney was just over a year old. So we'd been married a couple years, we had a baby, and then here comes cancer, right? And I mean, I think when you're young, I don't know, I think in some ways you don't know what you don't know, so that's kind of maybe helpful in some ways. Like it's not like we'd gotten so far into our married life that we were expecting life to be a certain way.
True.
You know?
Yeah, I can see that.
But we just, I think things had to shift really quickly. I mean, cancer became the number one thing in our life.
Mm-hmm.
And just figuring out how to deal with that was, I think it was challenging, but I don't think it was necessarily challenging for our relationship. Would you say?
I wouldn't. I'm trying to put this in perspective. Were you diagnosed, a year after I became head coach?
I think the year you
98.
became head coach
Was 98.
Yeah, and I was diagnosed in December.
Okay. So yeah, that was kind of, looking back at that now also, of being a very young head coach, clueless, with probably way more on my plate than I could really deal with even professionally at the time. Even my staff was young, so I wasn't able to surround myself with a bunch of experienced people. And then going into this other, with cancer, still young, clueless. The difference was we were able to surround ourselves with experienced people who loved us, or that were on your side medically. I mean, we had the best of the best, it felt like. Whereas on my professional side, it was just, oh boy, here, let's figure this out.
Yeah.
I look back on that now, and we had people to lean on in every aspect of cancer.
Yeah.
And our marriage.
And our marriage, too. I mean, I think...
Honestly.
I don't think we're always very good at being vulnerable, but I remember a conversation that we had super early when I asked if you were scared to be alone. That was one of the first nights that we'd found out that cancer was in my bones, all these things. And I said, "Are you scared to be alone?" And you said, "I'm scared to be without you." And I think, like, that level of being vulnerable was also just really helpful in the marriage. But beyond that, it wasn't then that you were dumping your feelings on me in any way, shape, or... I knew where you stood with that, and I guess it just made me feel like, okay, this is... I mean, obviously it's a big thing, but I don't know, we were all just processing, how to move forward with that, and what it would, if the cancer... how the cancer was going to change our lives, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think I spent a lot of time there, with thinking that you wouldn't be around. There were, in the treatment, that year of treatment,
yeah,
there were a few times where I was like, oh, okay, this is really serious, the thing you're doing. I'm still clueless on what treatment, or, I don't know. But it just seemed like after we went through the hell of that week of every test was the worst it possibly could be, then once we started treatment, it was positive stuff. At least they were telling us. Like, oh, that we got a good result out of this, or we seeing the tumor shrink, or we're, this is why we're doing this, and she's strong enough to deal with it. At that point, I don't think my brain ever went to, you're not going to be around. Okay. And it should have. I mean,
what about any time during the stem cell, like when I was pretty out of it for a little...
No, I was not. It was.
Okay.
I should have been, but I certainly wasn't like, oh, yeah, this could do it right here.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I mean, because I definitely...
I think it's different when you're in your low 20s. You're bulletproof. Even with
we're
cancer,
just
you're
still so
bulletproof.
young and
You
dumb.
know what I mean?
Right?
It's like, no, you're not going to die.
Yeah.
It's going to make you sick, and you suck it up, and you're going to be fine. I wasn't like that. I didn't say that.
No.
But there's probably part of me that, yeah, I definitely, I'm learning that I'm a stoic.
Yeah. What's a stoic mean?
Well, that's deep.
Yeah.
Being a stoic. I don't know a lot about it, but there's so many things that people, attribute to stoicism, and I go, oh, I relate to that, and that makes sense, and that, okay, that's why maybe I'm not weird that I don't get emotional over a lot of things, and don't, and that I'm like, okay, I can latch onto that. That makes me feel better that there's a label and that I'm not weird in certain situations.
I think maybe it's helpful too that we're both that way, because it doesn't, I think sometimes people expect a reaction, or that they don't get necessarily, right? Or do you not care? You're not crying, you don't care, or whatever that is.
Yep.
And that's not something for
and it doesn't
us.
mean you don't have feelings by any means.
No,
and it doesn't
not
mean
at
you
all.
don't process feelings. It just means maybe on a different timeline, or in high stress situations, you're able to be calm.
Yeah.
And people find that weird.
Yeah.
And I don't know. But I don't know why. I don't know in my life, but yeah, the higher the stress level goes, I am able to take a step back. I can almost see it from outside of my body sometimes. Those situations, which helps in certain situations. Now, I was not there, when that doctor told you basically that you were going to die. I was shutdownville, like I don't know what to say or do or anything, and you were calm. You were asking questions. We're off track here, but
no, but not. But again, that is I think in our relationship, one of us is going to be that way, right? There's usually we haven't run into a situation where we're both freaking out, and I think it's also.
I think we look to each other for that.
Yeah.
When you do feel like freaking out, you look in there and you see that. Whether it's just in the eyes or words that are said, you get comfort in that. Oh, it is going to be okay because there's that trust that we have.
I think the other thing when you're talking about that is also, it was because of kind of this whole thought of stoicism or being stoic. I think it's also easier to separate some of the things that we had to do as a couple, or that maybe you had to do. Or that we went through together, and again, it wasn't overly emotional, or there weren't added. I feel like sometimes people add feelings onto things that aren't really there. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, I mean,
it's anxiety.
When I'm throwing up, or it's just you handling a situation, or when a lot more of that versus, oh my God, I have to deal with this again, or whatever, it was very much just, and even a lot of times bringing humor in, at those times. I think all of that stuff, I think, was just super helpful, And
the other side of that is, honestly, even during that, when you were going through treatment, and that was still continuing into my second year, my second year as head coach, you were bald.
Yeah.
And maybe because after the stem cell, I don't know if it was right about then, I think you were done with chemo. Maybe that's why you were bald, because the stem cell transplant caused you to be bald again. But so I'm just trying to figure out how to win a few games and don't know what I'm doing and trying to hide that from everybody. And you were really supporting me in cancer treatment. You were. I mean, and whether that be that I could come home and talk about football.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, you were still kind of being, the mom. You were, if you remember, all of those kids kind of flocked a little bit And
well, I remember it being a good opportunity for those kids to learn a little bit about cancer,
Yep.
right? And to watch how we reacted to that in certain ways,
for
right?
sure. And I don't remember specific kind of interactions. They do.
Yeah.
And they're in their 40s now, and
Yeah.
grown men, and they still, it's like it was yesterday for them. And for me, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't remember that dinner or that whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? You were even supporting me even though you're going through
Well,
cancer.
I think
and,
that's one thing in our relationship. I think we both are very intentional about supporting each other's dreams, right?
For sure.
And it doesn't mean they have to be ours together. And sometimes it means that there's going to be more time that you need or more time that I need, whatever that looks like. I think it's always that. So in some ways, too, it's probably sort of a nice diversion. When you're heading into that season, actually, I was finishing at treatment. I was finishing radiation. I still didn't have a lot of hair. And I was scared to death with, like, what happens now? Like, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm not doing, like, when you're in treatment, there's this feeling of, okay, it's taken care of.
Well, and when you were in treatment for so long.
Right. You know, so transitioning over to kind of a maintenance type of situation is so scary. And, and I think then being able to, be at a game every Friday night and have you, and even be needed to be more with it for Sydney. You know what I mean? Like, because you were gone a lot. So.
I forgot about Sydney. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That girl. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she had, it would have been that fall that she had her first birthday in the stand.
Yep.
It's like she turned one in the football stands. And she also, that was on a Friday night, and her 18th birthday was also on a Friday night. So, yeah, I don't know. I think we just tried to kind of, when one of us needs to be a certain thing, that's what we are, I think. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
I do.
Okay. I would say, too, being the patient, I think...
Let me add something.
Yes.
And it's never been... I've never asked you to be supportive.
No.
You've just done it.
Well, but you've done it for me, too.
But I'm saying that it isn't, I need you to do this.
No.
It's never... And that's why I think it works, is I think we both look for opportunities to do that.
Right, and also I think there's... Like, for me, I love to do things with you. I also need to do things to be independent. I love that you support the things that I need to do for myself, and that, it doesn't have to be 100% us all the time. I think now that we're getting older and have more time together, we do more things together even. But there's no, it doesn't feel like while you were coaching football, I wasn't like at home mad that you were coaching football.
No, you were happy I was gone. I've heard the story a lot.
I mean, so.
No, I 100% agree.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and now again, not to sound old, but we've realized there are seasons in life where, you're really busy for some years of your lives, and then you're not as busy.
Yeah.
And then, I think the goal is to maintain a relationship that that goes through all of those seasons. But the other thing, so what I was going to say is that as a patient, I do think it's important to be mindful of not falling into just like being a patient 100% of the time, or being a victim, or being
it's got to be so easy to do.
For sure.
I don't know, but it seems like that would be an easy thing to do.
And again, when we look at seasons, you can be there for a season, you can be there for some time, but the goal is that if you're going to live with cancer, the goal is to live. And so what does that look like? And I definitely wanted to be able to live with cancer in a way that I was still your partner, that I wasn't just somebody you were taking care of because you had said I do too.
Right.
And I think that matters. So. Um, what else?
Marriage is like a box of chocolates.
Oh my God.
I'm not a marriage counselor. I don't know.
Yeah, no. I just think, I think for one thing, I mean, I was thinking about it a little bit this weekend. Like, I was thinking about the day I got married, like, I was not nervous. I wanted to be, I was a little nervous that I couldn't find the rings. But,
One job.
but just, I was just thinking about, like, you know, like finding that person that I just wanted to be with more than, you know, you made life better. And that was where I wanted to be. There was no question of, is he the one? I just knew that was the right thing for me. So.
Yes, 100% same. And okay, we watch these stupid shows on TV.
No, I watched them, but you've joined it.
Okay, and there's the dumbest. It shouldn't be allowed to be on television. They're that dumb. Where these people get married and they've never met each other.
You guys are all watching them too. Come on.
Okay, it's the dumbest show ever. Just throw out everything you should do about marriage, and that's the show. But they get, I don't know how long. They're married for a period of time, and then they have to say whether they want to stay married or not.
Yeah.
And you know, let's just say they were dating before this, because that's really what they're doing. And then they decide, well, if there's any question at all, for those of you out there maybe that are thinking about getting married, if you are thinking about, I don't have, then don't do it. Just say no.
Oh, Lauren, we're so sorry about how the audio is going to sound on this.
Sorry about that. But it's just, it boggles my mind. Like, there was zero question at all. I could not wait. I seriously could not wait. That part of my life, I was excited about turning to that.
I agree.
I was not thinking, oh, I'm going to miss single life. I wasn't, oh, my friends, or that. She was in with my friends automatically. That was a big thing, and that was important to me. Everything was perfect. Everything was perfect. And there was like, no, I cannot wait. And I wanted to go on the honeymoon, but I could not wait to get married, and it just makes me go, okay, this is not this difficult thing. If you are like, oh gosh, flip a coin, I don't know, then don't do it. That's my soapbox.
I think.
And don't watch that show.
Oh, come on. You'll whatever.
No.
Okay. I mean, I agree with that. I think I don't know if we got lucky, but we also have
For
a lot
sure we
of
did.
friends who are in marriages that have been going on for a lot of years too. But
I do.
But yeah, find the person that you don't want to be without. I think that's it, right? It's not.
Sure.
It's not that you need them to complete you,
And they're not perfect.
and they're not perfect. God no.
Absolutely not. That's not the thing.
Right.
It's if you're looking for the check boxes and to go
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
you're missing. It's got to be something inside of you. You just go, I always want to be around them.
Yeah.
And sometimes they drive me nuts, but I still want to be around them. That, I think, is the key.
Yeah. I agree. All right. That's all we've got for marriage and
That's it?
cancer.
Oh, she has more stuff written down.
Well, I said I did already talk about as a patient.
We
I
didn't
think
talk
you have
about
a
having
respons-
fun together.
Oh, okay. Well, have fun together.
Well, this is a big difference too.
Okay.
And this might just be our personalities. I don't know. But when I'm planning something to go do, the first thing that enters my mind is, I wonder if she'll want to go. In a good way.
Yeah.
There's a few things that I do, guys things, and I know you would have no part of it. So I don't even ask you. But for the most part, I think you've been the one girl, female, along with a bunch of things in my life. I've also tagged along, with things that are, and it's not, we're not being clingy. It's just we do have fun together. And it's not uncomfortable or weird or those kind of things. We don't have a lot of we do things separate,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not a lot of girl time, guy time, which I hear a lot about. I
Yeah.
just don't do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of my profession. I don't know.
I think
I'm thinking this through as I'm
I
talking.
can tell. Yeah. I think we're both, like I said, very independent people who choose to spend our time together, who
That's
want to be
probably said
together.
a little bit better there. Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not that, like, I've flown across the country without you. I've flown across the world without you, actually. It's not that...
You work out of the state.
Right.
You love being away from me.
No.
Let's just be honest here. No, we're talking about having fun, though.
No, but yeah, okay. I liked it. You bring the fun.
You bring the fun, too. Just in a different way.
Yeah.
I bring the ha-ha-ha fun.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I set the scene so there can be fun. How's it?
100% you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay, I cross the line sometimes.
Yes, you do.
Maybe more than sometimes. Because I'm having fun. But you don't give me a lot of crap for that. Which some ways I just see and I just go, oh my Lord, like just badgering and you're never... I've crossed the line probably more than a lot of people have and embarrassed myself.
Did you meet my father?
Right. And you literally, I mean, I can, like one time you were really, really mad at me. I can only think of one time when you were pissed.
Oh, I want to hear about that later. I can't remember.
What? Maybe we won't talk about that ever again. All right. You've never been really pissed at me. How about that?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was for crossing the line, though.
Okay.
This is the other thing I will say, though, in terms of like being mad at each other. One thing, you tend to be a quiet person, and I have learned that sometimes less is more. Like, it's not always worth going after an argument or trying to have it right when I'm upset about something. A lot of times, if you wait 24 hours, it's kind of dissipated or whatever. You know what I mean? So I will say I think we've come from different families in that respect. And I don't know, just...
Yeah, I don't know what the right thing is. I mean, we were given the piece of advice early on, never go to bed mad. And I don't think we go to bed mad a lot. But there's probably been some times when we have done that. I think as long as you don't just forget as
you don't keep going further
yeah, that's
apart,
what I'm trying to
right?
say. Yeah.
Yes.
And
but I think
not
it's
let
okay.
it fester.
Yeah, but I also think getting into some things when you're mad is not helpful. Like,
not for us, not our personalities.
True.
Some people, that is
gotta be
therapeutic.
resolved. Maybe,
I mean,
yeah.
therapeutic, and they got to just shout it out, and I will go. We've never done that, and I bet we never do. It's just not our personalities.
It's not your personality.
It's not your. You never don't get in shouting matches with people.
No, but I don't know.
You gotta understand, I'm comparing them to. You know,
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay, we can be done now.
Oh my gosh.
Did you talk about the other stuff?
No, well, the other thing that's on there is to be intentional. And I think it's important to say thank you or to say, I appreciate that you did that. Or to, you know what I mean? Like, we have done some work on, like, love languages and things like that. But just, let me touch your arm. But the bringing intentionality into a marriage, I think, is important. So, and it doesn't have to. I think
if you're not trying,
more
you're
often
failing.
it's the little things, way more than the big things.
Because the big things get old.
Well, and also I guess the thing is also like, have you learned over time? Like, maybe you bring your wife flowers every week, but she doesn't like flowers. Right? Like, is it something that's really...
I know you don't like chocolate.
Is it really something... Finally, thank you, Sydney.
Let it go.
Is it something that really is... is it something that you're doing that you're like, check, I did that, versus...
That's what I'm saying.
Really
those things
that.
you do all the time, it's still nice things 5 years later,
Yeah.
but it does lose its luster. you're saying compared to the wasn't expecting that, oh, that's really nice, even though it's a little tiny thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I and look for those. I try to look for those opportunities to do little tiny things.
Yeah.
It is harder when you live in different states to do those things, but yeah.
That's not forever.
Okay.
Which brings us to our next one that you said, be flexible.
You gotta stretch a lot. If you don't stretch a lot, your marriage is not gonna make it.
What did you mean by be flexible?
You gotta be flexible in not always wanting things your way, and honestly being okay with going with the other person, whatever that is. We literally could be talking about a big thing or a small thing, but I see in some situations, and probably have been guilty before, we both probably have of this, but it doesn't happen very often, of saying, not in these words, but fine, we'll do it your way or do your thing, and being pissed about that.
Yeah.
Versus, no, I decide I am going to do it, and I'm going to try to have fun, even though it's definitely not what I would have chosen.
Right.
That's big, I think. That's what's being flexible, is that attitude, or that truly attempting things that you're not exactly comfortable with maybe sometimes.
Yeah, and I would say that even just with routines and stuff, just because you always ate dinner at 6 o'clock and now your partner does, you know what I mean? Just being flexible with, like, does that really matter? Is, in the scheme of things, is this a sword I'm going to die on, right?
Right.
So, wow.
And you want to stretch. I mean, that is important. Posterior muscle group gets people in trouble late in age. It's true.
Whew. Sorry for this disjointed podcast on
It's late.
marriage.
I'll just say that.
And cancer. Yep.
Yes.
We're a little. Yep. All right. Well, we did it. Next week, the big, longer podcast on Wednesday is our 100th podcast. And
What do you call that? What's 100?
your centennial?
Centennial podcast.
Woo! So we have a plan. We won't be spitballing.
Are we giving away the $100,000 for the person who's listened to all of them?
Do you have the $100,000?
No.
Okay, then no.
Okay.
But we do have.
Has anybody listened to all of them? If you've listened to all of them, now's your time to comment. We will get you a prize.
Like a sticker or
A
something.
sticker. We'll get you a sticker. A 100.
A 100. Actually, I just was listening that Peloton sends people t-shirt for their 100th workout or ride, which is great marketing, I gotta say. So maybe we'll look into t-shirts. All right.
Okay.
Have a great week.
See ya.